Herkesi selamlıyorum. İlk önce Kosova ülke olarak bir tanıtım yapmak istiyorum. Ondan sonra var olan Kosova'da genel olarak aldığım örnek sigara. Sigarayı Kosova olarak
ونحن في كوسوفو
kötülüklerin en iyi kardeşi olarak gözükmekte. Oysa yine de bir bağımlı bir maddedir. Hocam
هو
addicted to cigarette. For us, cigarette is the main source of all bad habits. I don't know about other countries, but in our country, many families do not care about their children smoking. Parents say, it's not that bad as marijuana or something else. However, cigarette is also harmful. 1.8 million is Kosovo's population. It's a small country. In 2008, independence of Kosovo was announced. Before the war, Kosovo was a part of Yugoslavia, and Kosovo departed from Yugoslavia as the last country after the war. Independence was gained, and for 9 years it was under the supervision of United Nations. In the year of 2008, it became independent. However, Kosovo was not recognized. It has not been recognized by the United Nations. It is located on an area which is equal to 10,908 square kilometers, and it has these neighbors: Bulgaria, Macedonia, Albania, and Bosnia. You can see its size compared to Turkey. On the right, you can see how it is small. Our population and economy, as I have already stated, in 2014, we have seen that 1.8 million citizens are living in our country, and 27.5% of the population is comprised of youngsters. Our national revenue is 6 million euros, and 3.8% is our growth rate. And import is 2.6 million euro, and export is 325 million euros. Based on this, you can understand there is a problem of production. It is almost near to zero level. Up until independence, Serbia was applying some policies which are stopping economic activities, such as closing down the factories and closing the schools. So there was a shutdown of many institutions of the state, but slowly but surely, hopefully, we are going to increase our consumption. As I've mentioned, after Kosovo became independent, Kosovo became a member of many international organizations, such as certain organizations in the United Nations. However, in the international arena, Kosovo has not been accepted by UNESCO, World Health Organization. Even the United Nations do not recognize Kosovo, so we cannot get use of world statistics. So based on our own sources, Kosovo's government and non-governmental organizations research, we can collect some statistics, but certain analysis of World Health Organization or other statistics done by other institutions are not welcomed by us. It is very difficult for us to get use of those statistics because there are bannings coming from big states whenever we want to get use of these statistics. In 2011, we ratified a tobacco law. It became a law. When you look at these tobacco-related laws in 2008, code respect to tobacco was issued, and in 2011, tax law was accepted. In 2008, tobacco code was issued. It was mainly about information, so harms of tobacco and how to disseminate the information to the society and bannings on the selling. So broader legal framework was drawn thanks to this law. And as I mentioned, some information was given to the society. Tobacco use, distribution, or some other substances, they were organized within a legal framework thanks to this code. Tobacco and tobacco use were not to sell them. A legal base was prepared, and how they are to be sold was also prepared. For example, automated vending machines cannot be used for tobacco selling. In 2011, tobacco products were taken out of the coverage of normal tax system. Up until that time, tobacco, cigarettes, and other products were processed in the normal tax system, but then a special tax system for tobacco and cigarettes was designed in 2013 under the framework of European Union legislation. Tobacco controls law was enacted. It is to prevent the lethal and dangerous effects of it is to prevent those effects of cigarette smoking, and it includes a smoke-free area and age limitation and some other related steps. So under that framework, in the government buildings, in the restaurants, if they violate the law, they are given some sanctions. In the past, even in some closed areas, up to 30%, it was allowed to smoke, but now it is definitely prohibited. Kosovo's cigarettes tobacco use is not affected by the law. I mean, in theory, everything's okay, but in practice, law is not very applicable. It is based on culture, and it can be only strengthened thanks to trainings, definitely. But the Ministry of Health of Kosovo prepared a strategic document for 2015-2020, and cigarette and tobacco use and heroin use has been defined as a risk factor for traffic accidents. And some surveys have been carried out. Based on the results of the surveys, up to 28 to 31% citizens of Kosovo smokes, and from 25% to 28%, we can see smokers are really smokers, so they are smoking on a daily basis. Kosovo government has increased taxes for twice in 2012. Customs duty have been increased in order to create a preventive measure for tobacco use. So on the left you can see males, on the right you can see females. So number of the cigarettes and packages number. Many of the people analyzed in the survey smoke more than a package a day.
Genel gıda konularıyla sigara fiyatları
General health issues and the price analysis. And on this screen, you also see since 2008, due to low inflation rate, there is no decline in prices. However, in cigarettes, there is 100% increase. For instance, in rice, there is a 10% increase. In milk, there is no change. However, when it comes to cigarette, there is 100% increase. But despite that is the case, still, this has not negatively impacted cigarette consumption. And increasing the taxes of this product only impacts the consumers, not the manufacturers. So in this respect, import and export levels of cigarettes do not decline. And when we look at the expenditure rate of the Kosovan population, in 2008, 38% were spent on food and non-alcoholic drinks, and alcohol and cigarettes. Only 3% of their income were spent. 35% goes to housing, 22% health and communication, education, and luxury life, only 2%. The reason for the expenditure on education is that education is free of charge in our country. The literacy rates are high in our country. And when we look at imports, between 2015-16, the first 10 months in Kosovo, 2,292 tons of tobacco was imported, according to the data of Kosovo. 293 tons of more cigarettes has been imported in our country. When it comes to smuggling, we see that in Wichtin and Friza data, 22,000 of cigarettes has been confiscated, and 40,000 euro value of tobacco and dried leaves and cigarettes was confiscated also. The reason for us to have this slide is that cigarettes and weapons are in the same slide as you see. This is a mafia business. This is not a trade. This aims at killing people, this trade. So for that reason, I think that we use this photograph in order to deter young people from smoking and tobacco. According to 2004 data, youngsters between 13 to 15 years of age were using 6.7 of them were smoking. In 2016, this has dropped down to 4.8%, from 84% to 44%, the passive cigarette smokers, users. This is thanks to the legal arrangements to be more effective, implemented more effectively. And the reason of in 2016, 2,000 people lost their lives due to cigarettes consumption. And according to the announcement of the Ministry of Health, this year, they called out the support of all institutions in order to combat against cigarette smoking. Unfortunately, the current law, it's difficult for us to implement it on a municipal level, because in Kosovo, due to the political system, election in our country, people are elected rather than the parties. So mostly everybody in Kosovo carries out personal politics. So in order not to lose votes, the municipal people, or as the mayor, for instance, they unfortunately do not implement the law effectively in order not to lose the votes of the restaurants and cafeterias. So in that respect, actually inspections should be carried out more frequently, and they should be carried out by the central government rather than the local government. In Kosovo, only 319 penalties have been approved, as you see, have been implemented. It's very low in numbers. And the lawsuits. The lawsuits, unfortunately, just like our previous speaker mentioned, gets prolonged. Unfortunately, many public officers do not impose penalties because the process is very long. And when we look at the questionnaire outcomes, now young people say that cigarette smoking is a new fashion, and especially at high schools, people are smoking, and they are more popular youngsters. And they also say that a cigarette is attractive. When it comes to drugs, Safet Blakay, in the last 3 years, only 1% has used heroin, according to this data. At the beginning of my presentation, I had indicated that Kosovo depends on its own means when collecting data. The World Health Organization or else the United Nations, they do not have any database in that respect. So based on the Kosovan means, actually, we have tried to gather data and share them with you. Mostly Kosovo laws, regulations, the Ministry of Health data, the customs organizations data, and the data that I found in newspapers. These are